Before you do anything, hit the like button and sub to the channel if you're not already a subscriber to the channel. Hit the like button and sub to the channel. So Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., he had some choice words for Canelo Alvarez after Canelo Alvarez just had sold 75K in Dallas Cowboys Stadium and beat Billy Joe Saunders for his third strap at super middleweight. Now, he did go on to congratulate Canelo Alvarez and say that he's glad to see that another Mexican did what Canelo Alvarez did, his countryman. But instead of just leaving it at that, he had to throw some shots at Canelo Alvarez and let everybody know that Canelo Alvarez will never be as good as him, that Canelo Alvarez's career will never eclipse his career. And he let everybody know that, look, I was 89-0 before I ever lost a fight. And Canelo Alvarez, he already got an L on his record. Now, that was unnecessary because Canelo Alvarez, anytime he's ever talked about Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., he's praised him. He said he looked up to Julio Cesar Chavez. I mean, pretty much everybody in Mexico that watch boxing, that's a boxing fan, they praise Julio Cesar Chavez. You know what I'm saying? He like a god in Mexico. Statues. Shit, they even got statues of him in Cali and in Phoenix and, in Arizona and all of that. The Mexican community, they praise Julio Cesar Chavez. So it was no need for him to add that in, on Canelo. And so, his whole thing is that, oh yeah, he'll never be as good as me. Look, I was 89-0. He flaunting that 89-0, but let's talk about the history behind your 89-0. The facts is that it took you 9 years, almost 10 years before you really stepped up and started facing tough competition. You stepped up and you had faced the Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather, which was a great fighter. And I give you all the credit in the world for beating the Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather. And you did it in impressive fashion, right? After you beat the Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather, you went years and years before you ever fought any more credible opponents. You finally stepped up and you rematched him. You beat him again. And then after that, you finally stepped up and you fought the young Olympian Meldrick Taylor, right? I think you was about 52 fights in. You know what I'm saying? You was probably like 52-0 at that time. You finally stepped up and you fought Meldrick Taylor, the young Olympian. Meldrick Taylor beat the shit out of you. Meldrick Taylor beat you, outboxed you damn near every round, right? Meldrick Taylor had to fight in the bag. The fight was won. You knocked down Meldrick Taylor with about 3-4 seconds left. In the last and final round, you dropped Meldrick Taylor. Meldrick Taylor got up. He showed the referee that he was fine. He told the referee that he wanted to continue. And Richard Steele waved the fight off with only 4 seconds left in the fight. 4 seconds left. In 3 or 4 seconds, you wouldn't even have the time to walk from your side of the ring to his side of the ring for them to start the fight back up. The bell was going to ring, right? And the funny part about it is that Richard Steele knew that. Everybody knew that, and you knew that. But they did that to pad your record because they did not want you to get an L on your record. Boxing has always been corrupt. We know that you was Don King's one of Don King's number one fighters back then. In no way could Don King afford for his number one fighter, Julio Cesar Chavez, to lose that O that he had on his record. You know what I'm saying? Because Meldrick Taylor wasn't supposed to go in there and beat Julio Cesar Chavez. That was never supposed to happen, right? So with that being said, you talking about this 89-0, you would have never been 89-0 if it hadn't been for Richard Steele and if it hadn't been for the corruption of boxing in Don King. Now, let's talk about when you continue to step up. Later on, you stepped up and you fought Frankie Randall. And we don't even really want to call that a step up because at the time, Frankie Randall was virtually unknown. At the time, Frankie Randall already had 2 losses on his record. Frankie Randall was an opponent that you was supposed to go and walk through. Everybody thought, oh, ain't no way this dude is going to go in there and beat the almighty Julio Cesar Chavez. I think you were 89-0 at that point in time. Well, Frankie Randall went in there and beat your ass and damn near beat your ass every single round. Matter of fact, he did beat your ass every single round. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not giving you no discredit, because you are a great fighter. You was always a great fighter, Julio Cesar Chavez. But you never gave credit to none of your opponents that beat you. Frankie Randall beat you clearly, and one of the judges tried to rob Frankie Randall. They gave the fight to you. That's why it was a split decision. That fight should have never been a split decision. But they finally gave, an opponent that really beat you the victory over you, which that wasn't something you was used to. You discredited Frankie Randall. You act like that you won the fight. You didn't want to give him no props. You gave him no credit at all when he clearly beat you damn near every round. That's why I say that you not giving, full credit to Canelo Alvarez and what he's doing in his career. That's vintage Julio Cesar Chavez. It's like you could never stand anybody to be anywhere near you on your level. But so Frankie Randall beat you, right? You didn't give him no credit at all. You cried and act like you won the fight and you should have won the fight, when everybody knows that if you even came close to winning the fight, that you would have won the fight on every scorecard. I mean, you was Julio Cesar Chavez, a guy that they had built that could never lose, right? So you finally lose, right? They tried to rob Frankie Randall, but the other 2 judges did what they had to do. So you go on and, you fight Frankie Randall again later on, and Frankie Randall beats you again. Clearly, Frankie Randall clearly beats you again, but this time they robbed Frankie Randall. They did what they wanted to do the first fight. They robbed Frankie Randall. So, okay, you go on to face Pernell Whitaker. Now, when you fought Pernell Whitaker, you were in your prime and he was in his prime. And the reason I'm saying this is because you can compare you fighting Pernell Whitaker to Canelo Alvarez fighting Floyd Mayweather. See, but there's a difference. Like I said, you were a veteran in your prime when you fought Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker schooled you every round. I'll give you maybe one round in that whole fight, 2 rounds max. You only really won 1 round in that whole fight. Pernell Whitaker schooled you, made you look like a fucking amateur, right? Lost the fight clearly, but they gave you a draw. But boxing was corrupt. Like I said, you was the poster face of boxing for a minute, especially for the lighter weight guys. If we weren't talking about Evander Holyfield or Tyson or, the heavyweights, you were the poster child for the lighter weight divisions, the welterweight and super welterweight and lightweight. You was the poster child. So there's no way they were going to let you lose. You got your ass beat by Pernell Whitaker, right? Canelo Alvarez lost damn near every round with Floyd Mayweather. He got his ass beat by Floyd Mayweather. But see, the difference is Canelo Alvarez was 22 years old when he got schooled by Floyd Mayweather. He was 22 years old. Who was you fighting at 22 years old? A bunch of fucking bums. You was fighting dishwashers from your local Denny's. You know what I'm saying? Fighting bums from Mexico. Right? And this is the truth. Y'all gonna get mad if you want to, because I know a lot of people gonna listen to this and they're gonna get mad because Julio Cesar Chavez is a god to a lot of Mexican fans. He's a god in Mexico. But let's just keep it 100. He wasn't fighting nobody, no killers like Floyd Mayweather and Lara. You know what I'm saying? This man Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather, then turned around and fought Lara. And I think that, Lara probably edged it out. I think that Lara edged it out and beat Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people, I think it was a very close fight, but I gave the fight to Lara, right? But with all of that said, he was fighting that type of competition at 22 and 23 years old. You wasn't fighting that type of competition at that age. You feel me? You was well into your prime before you start picking up your competition because you were padding your record. So don't get on TV, don't do these interviews and talk about how somebody will never be on your level, how somebody's career would never surpass yours, because a lot of your career was smoke and mirrors, right? You was a great fighter, Julio Cesar Chavez. You know, you was a great fighter, but your record was padded. You had a lot of bullshit fights on your record, a whole lot of bullshit fights on your record. And yeah, Canelo Alvarez, he has some bullshit fights on his record too, right? And he's not fought certain opponents that we wanted him to fight and all of that. He's done all of that. But at the end of the day, if you look at what he's doing at his age and what you was doing at your age, you know, when you was his age, it doesn't compare. And you was losing your big step up fights, whether they were giving you gift decisions or not. You were losing your big step up fights. You know, and then you went on, you fought Oscar De La Hoya, and you know what I'm saying? You quit. He stopped you. You quit. You ain't never seen Canelo Alvarez come close to being stopped or come close to quitting. You feel me? So you were a warrior, but don't try to act like that you just so greater than Canelo Alvarez, because you weren't. And at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez, you know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't have said it no better. He says, I'm going to let my career do the talking. At the end of the day, when my career is over with, said and done, you can look at my resume, you can look at the numbers, and, you know, it's going to speak for itself. I don't need to be trying to be better than Julio Cesar Chavez, because I'm my own man. You feel me? And I'm better than your son will ever be. And matter of fact, you wish your son was half as good as me. And I beat the shit out of your son. And Canelo Alvarez let everybody know that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that was some of the easiest work of his whole career. And he got paid a whole hell of a lot for doing it, right? And let's not all forget, right? Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., you know, shit, he was a cokehead. He didn't take the sport serious a lot of times. And he's the exact opposite from Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is the ultimate professional. Don't put nothing bad in his body. And he takes the sport serious, and he's a gym rat, right? He don't have, you know what I'm saying? He don't have no allegations of beating on his wife like Julio Cesar Chavez does. Yeah. Y'all don't want to talk about that, right? Y'all don't want to talk about, you know, all the coke that he did and the drugs he was doing in his career, how he was beating on his wife and all of that. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We'll just stick to boxing, right? But, you know, I just think it was unnecessary. He should have been, you know, congratulating his fellow countryman, young, you know, a young man like Canelo Alvarez doing great things, and he should embrace that all the way instead of trying to throw little jabs and shots. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. You know, comment in the comment section whether you mad or like what I'm saying. You know, put a comment. Make sure that you sub to the channel and you hit the thumbs up and like this video. Until next time, there you go, talking that boxing again. I'm gone.